What's up, Mandy?
How are ya?
Oh, I'm good. How you doing?
Good. It's just going to be me today. Why is
Okay,
that not
cool.
working? Hi.
What's going on?
Just another day in paradise over here.
Another day in paradise out there in Arizona. Nice and warm out there, I bet.
Yeah, where are you at?
I'm in Waxhaw, North Carolina, which is Charlotte, we'll say.
Okay, there you
Uh,
go.
yeah. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
thanks for doing this today.
Yeah, of course.
I tell you what, Mandy, introduce yourself real quick, if you would.
My name is Mandy Heflin, and I am one of the owners of Chula Seafood.
Awesome. Out in Arizona, and y'all have figured out a way.
Hold on one second. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Get my email so it doesn't buzz while we're in here. Yes. Okay. So, hi.
So you figured out a way to get fresh, I mean, super fresh seafood to the desert
Yes.
out in Arizona. 5.5 hour truck drive from, I guess, San Diego, if I understand correctly. I watched your video. I thought that was really
Yeah.
cool.
Awesome.
So this is something that before y'all started doing it, people didn't really think it could be done, and y'all figured out a way. Is that pretty much the story?
Pretty much. I mean, there weren't really options out here prior to us kind of starting what we do. My husband and I kind of were in odd jobs, and his family's been in the commercial fishing industry for 20, 25 years, more so as a hobby of sorts. But we looked at each other one day and we're like, why are we not bringing this fresh fish to Arizona? You couldn't really have access to uh, high quality fish as a retail consumer. You could find it in hotels and restaurants and all of that, but it was really missing the everyday person that wants to come in and buy some fish at a fish market. And I'm from Seattle, so I was definitely feeling the itch for fresh seafood. I pretty much stopped eating fish from moving out here. I moved out in 2004 for school, and then we got married in 2012, and then we started the Arizona side of things in 2015. um, my father-in-law in San Diego, he began distributing off of our boat in 2009. But that was mostly based just wholesale and all of that. And we opened our first restaurant here in 2016.
2016. How many locations do you have now?
We have two restaurants, Fresh Fish Market and Restaurants. Super casual type of atmosphere. We kind of ride that California vibe, I guess you could say. You can come in and just buy fresh fish. You can come in and just eat, or you can do both. We're opening another in North Scottsdale, hopefully in the spring. And then we also service about 75 plus restaurants within the valley as a wholesale distributor.
It's like a heck of a business y'all built there. Congratulations. Very
Thank
cool.
you. Thank you. It's been really fun, and our passion and just the support from the community is really just what's kept it alive. And through our mission of what we're doing, we've attracted some really amazing team members that kind of are just have allowed us to go to the next level.
Well, that's you must stay extremely busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I can tell y'all really are passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
So I saw on the video your chef talking about. I mean, you guys were talking about like, God, it was really interesting breaking down a fish and knowing where to put the knife, and
Hmm.
tell me about that, because I don't know, I just never really thought about all that, but that seems to
Yeah,
be
I mean,
your
so
craft.
we handle all whole fish. I'm actually up at our warehouse now where everything is trucked in, or we fly in a lot of fish from around the world as well now because we've grown so much. But we're processing whole fish, and it's an art. It's a very to get the highest yield out of the animal, and then on top of that, utilizing every bit of it that we can. Like with the tuna, as we cut it, we take the carcass and we're scraping off the meat of the carcass, and that turns into one of our most popular dishes at our restaurants of our spicy tuna bowl. And nothing we do is frozen. So It's really, you can taste the difference in how the fish is cut and how it's presented to not just us, but to our customers. There really is an art form to it. And Juan, he's our head cutter now up here. He kind of is head of quality control, and he leads we call them our fishmongers, the rest of the guys that cut all the fish. But we're bringing in thousands and thousands of pounds of fish 2 to 3 times a week via van, and then there's more that comes in from all over the world via airplane. And a lot of what's been done in the past is a loin is flown in from somewhere, not a whole fish. So having us be able to control the product from whole fish to dish has made our product stand out amongst others.
Well, okay, so you've got stuff being trucked in, you have stuff being flown in. What happened during COVID with all that, especially the stuff that was flown in? That must have been
COVID was definitely, I think we're still feeling the supply and demand issues in the supply chain from COVID. But fortunately, because we have our boat in Point Loma, and that's where our head processing facility is, we had all the connections to the local commercial fishermen. So it almost put us at an advantage, because a lot of these bigger companies weren't able to buy off of these guys anymore. So we kind of came in and saved the day, I say, in some sorts. Like the tuna industry, they come in and they have boats full of tuna, and then they had nowhere to put it. So we were able to start processing it for them, store it at our facility, and that kind of got us involved in the local tuna industry within San Diego. So really utilizing local fishermen during COVID really helped us and helped them keep the local fishing aspect alive. Things that are being flown in, it really it didn't pose as much as a problem as probably one would have thought, because a lot of things are just shoved in cargo, and it's a lot of it's coming from Long Beach or from San Diego, which is a very short flight as well. But we really reached out to the local community of sorts to support the local fishing industry, because we have our swordfish boat. We're a sustainable swordfish boat, so that's pretty much what species we specialize in. We can get OPA and other items off of our boat, but we're targeting swordfish, and that's solely what we do bring up. So just being in the commercial industry for so long has really has given us the connections to buy directly from these guys and get the best product from them. That's like California halibut, black cod, local grouper, local California yellowtail, OPA, bluefin tuna. The list goes on. We have an urchin diver that goes and gets uni for us, and it's really cool, and it's really it's neat to see how how much the community in Arizona appreciates what we do as well.
So the how is, like, over the last, I don't know, since y'all been doing this, like, what's changed with fishing? Do you use farmed fish as well?
We do use farm fish, and we used, farm. There's a lot of misconceptions about farmed fish.
Yeah.
There are bad farms, there are good farms. It's more about educating yourself on where your food's coming from, and that relates to anything that we put in our bodies. So, the farm salmon, for instance, is one of the highest farmed species, because at this point, salmon's a commodity. It's almost like there's seafood and then there's salmon. You see salmon on every single menu in every single restaurant around the world, basically. And there's no way that the ocean could keep up with the demand of that. So with that being said, there are good farms and bad farms, and we purvey products from farms that are sashimi grade, that are farmed under the highest standards, and we stand behind all of that as well. So it has, that obviously causes some questions within our markets and our products, but the product speaks for itself, because there are some, there's chicken I won't eat because if I know where it came from, and cows and chickens and pigs they weren't born on farms. Like they were wild at one point and still are. So it's really just part of our another piece of our mission is education. So, we've converted a lot of I only eat wild salmon eaters to, understanding and appreciating the product, because if we only ate wild salmon, there would be no more wild salmon to consume. And we aren't the only we aren't the only beings that eat salmon. It's, there's animals that depend on the salmon and all of that. So, it's kind of interesting. There's a shrimp farm actually in Gila Bend, Arizona, which is basically in the middle of the desert. So there's inland farming is, and it's becoming a thing because they don't want to pollute the ocean. And, there's, like I said, there's pros and cons to every way of doing something, but our job is to understand that we're giving the best product that we can find. And our stamp of approval on it means that, we're going to stand by in its quality, and these guys are doing the right thing, and we want to bring it to the people.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, like, I try to eat pasture raised, grass fed, grass finished beef. I ate a lot of beef. Like, I don't want to get the stuff from the feedlots. Like, it's very different.
Yeah.
Same deal there. So yeah, I just don't know a whole lot about that. Like when you have a farm, like what is it? I mean, paint the picture for me. Like, is it like a massive amount of ocean that's like?
Some of them are like deep pens in the ocean. That's basically like a huge kind of blocked off area for these fish to swim without getting other species in there. Some of them, like, the inland, the desert shrimp, we're actually supposed to be going on a tour of that facility coming up here soon, because it's something that's been recognized by the Seafood Watch program. So, these bigger names are standing behind these initiatives to kind of, people aren't going to stop eating seafood, but we need to make sure we're doing it in a smart fashion. I think I would say that the bad farms are the ones that are, overstocking pens that could be inland, or just, the water that's being used, or, we tend to, our salmon comes from the Faroe Islands, Tasmania, and Scotland, and it's in like super cold, undisturbed water, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's, the product speaks for itself, and it's really like it comes down to, I think the biggest speculation people have is, what are they being fed? So the diets they try to emulate matching the diet of what they would eat in the wild. So yeah, and if you eat a cow that's farmed versus someone killing a wild, animal, there are going to be some differences and nuances and whatnot. So I think farming is going to be more of the future of fish. And I think that a lot of people don't know about it, but there's a lot of just automatic negative connotation with it. So like I said, educating, and just, if you see it's a farmed fish, Google, everyone has a phone in their hand, look up the farm, ask where your fish comes from. Don't be afraid to ask questions about what we're putting in our body. It's that's something that I find important about what we do, is just, making people more familiar with products or fish or species that they won't typically eat. Someone comes into the fish market and they're like, oh, I just want salmon or halibut. And it's like, well, have you tried this Corvina bass? It's beautiful. It cooks nice. And it might be an unfamiliar name, but just giving them the confidence to be like, okay, this is a great fish. Now I know more about this. Or, playing around with grouper, California halibut versus Alaskan halibut. Alaskan is a super fatty, amazing fish, but it's only available a certain time of year on a fresh standpoint, where California halibut, it's similar. It's it's not as fatty because it's in warmer waters. It's a thinner flat fish, but it's around year round, and it's a super clean white fish. So just kind of sharing those bits of information. And I think a lot of what our customers love is like that small connection that they make. It's like going to a butcher, you come in and
Yep.
You want to talk and find out what's fresh and find out what's the best and how to cook it and whatnot. So another item that's typically farmed a lot is shellfish. And with COVID, the prices of scallops have skyrocketed, like out of control.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so, I mean, those are the types of issues we see with COVID. So, we've chosen to we used to carry these larger scallops, U10s, which means about 10 scallops to a pound. But our cost on them has gone up so high that we don't want to have people pay $50 a pound for scallops or upwards of $60 a pound for scallops. So there are things we have smaller ones available that are still just as great, but it's kind of just changing with what's available, and it's supply and demand issues from the farms and what they're able to provide. But a lot of oysters are farmed, a lot of clams, mussels, all of that. So it's just becoming more familiar with with where our food comes from at the end of the day.
Well, it's funny you say that farming can have a bad connotation sometimes. I think a lot of people don't have I'm trying to learn. I try to do the best I can to learn about stuff, what I'm eating and where it's coming from. I mean, a lot of people don't. I don't think. I think the average person just, they don't know that, they're eating, like you said, every restaurant everywhere has salmon.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny. A lot of people will come in, and when they see a whole fish in our case, it's like, oh my goodness, it has eyeballs. It's looking at me, all the things. And it's like, well, it didn't just like swim up as a perfect cut, like rectangle fillet. Yeah. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Like, we bring in so much salmon, and all the salmon have to be scaled, and all of them are broken down and pin boned, and it's a lot of work. And that's just salmon. And so really just like having people understand, I think I'm just kind of generally speaking, but as Americans, we've been trained to walk into grocery stores and trust what we've been given.
Right.
And true. Instead of kind of going to the next level and asking questions or trying different things, or asking, just where did it come from? And if they don't know, that gives them an opportunity to, find out. It's just, the more questions asked, the more knowledge and growth is to happen. So that's what I like to emulate within our staff, and something we do to kind of, as being in the desert, we hold kind of twice a year for our staff, we do Chula University, and it's going over all of the fish, showing how we break down the fish, talking about farmed versus wild, really giving our team the skills to, take care of the guests that come into our door. And a lot of people are mostly just really scared to cook fish, which I find so funny because it's so easy. And so going over simple cooking applications, cooking scallops couldn't be easier. They'll buy salmon because it's comfortable when they don't want to mess up buying the halibut or the grouper or whatever else is in there. And it's really, it's a lot easier and a lot more comfortable, and just getting people used to buying what's available locally instead of outsourcing everywhere. So with our connection to San Diego and what we do in San Diego, that's a huge part, bringing in species that might not necessarily be what everyone's running to, but once they try it and they're like, wow, thank you for helping me cook that. Thank you for helping me, telling me, like black cod has just as many omega-3s or more than salmon does. And
black cod.
Huh. Yeah, black cod. It's typically it's popular, I think, as a miso marinade is the kind of application that it's been popularized with, but it's a super delicate white fish that's very good for you. It has all the good oils and all of that. So just, and then on top of new products, it's also the sustainability side, utilizing collars. We had somebody, we had one of our chefs just take the tail piece of a swordfish, and he made a ham out of it. So taking
he did what?
Yeah, he made a swordfish ham out of it. It was cured and dried and hung and all these things. And the way he sliced it and the texture, wow. It really ultimately, obviously it's not ham, but it gave the same texture, taste, and all of that of ham. And that was taking kind of a tail cut and utilizing it, because uh, most of the time, how our restaurant piece kind of evolved was having our wholesale and our restaurant coincide together, and the restaurant utilizing not the waste but the scraps, the leftover pieces that the restaurant, the wholesale customers don't want. Belly pieces of the swordfish are not desirable, but we've made them desirable, and now our wholesale customers want them because they see like how much fat they can carry and how well they stick up to a cooking application. And we smoke all of our own fish, and we figured out a way to make the swordfish collar look like a tomahawk chop. And we've got a huge restaurant in town that now sells it as, and it's an amazing piece. I don't know if you've ever had a collar piece of fish, but it's like where all the fat is, and there's just all these little pockets of like deliciousness. And it's just really using every piece to kind of make the sustainability factor go full circle, which our fishing practices, from how the fish is harvested, how it's taken out of the water, to us controlling it from boat to table in our own refrigerated vans. And then knowing that once it's here, it's harvested and we're utilizing everything that we can. And just, having people try things that they wouldn't. And I think it's, then you take our chef team that literally, I call them fish magicians, because they'll convert someone that doesn't like seafood into a seafood lover just because of what they can do with the fish. For instance, we've got like a swordfish Cuban on our menu as one of our features. We've got a swordfish meatloaf sandwich. A lot of what we utilize a lot of swordfish because that's our bread and butter with what we do. But we started smoking all of the salmon bellies because no one, typically that's not a piece that customers want on the wholesale side. So we're cutting all those off. We're like, what do we do with all of these? So we have, it's like smoked and cured, and we call it Kyle's Candy. And it's one of the most popular things that we sell at our markets. So just really, education, sustainability, and, making sure the product is always top notch is really just kind of our passion and our mission. And it's fun. And, the growth that's been happening is, I pinch myself every day. We started this with just kind of being like, oh, let's bring fresh fish to the desert. And to see what we've done in the last 6 years is mind blowing to me. So
that's so awesome. How did you, so you said you were from Seattle originally.
I'm from Seattle, yes.
And then you went to college there.
Yeah, I came out here to ASU, and then I met my husband, and we actually got married at the Seattle Aquarium before we started the seafood business. So it was kind of a foreshadow to what our life was going to be. And then our business partner, Hogan, he grew up with my husband. They've known each other since 5th grade, and he's been in the restaurant industry for a really long time. So it was kind of, when we first started, my husband, John, he was more wholesale and sales. Hogan was more restaurant focused. And then I have restaurant background, marketing, and, kind of the boring accounting back end stuff. So the three of us kind of just ended up being the perfect trifecta of what we needed to make this thing grow. And, we used to be housed, our wholesale and our restaurant were housed under one roof. In 2019, we split into 3 locations, with the warehouse being one of them. And it's just kind of been nonstop growth since there. And we are very fortunate to, thrive during COVID. And it was, we saw a lot of our local restaurants, not be so fortunate. But we've been able to, help others get back on their feet. And, we understand the hardships of everything. And a lot of what we do is, like I told you, is so community based, and we really wouldn't be here without the community. And that's kind of just what keeps us going.
Yeah, it's been tough for a lot of folks. The last couple of years, it's been hard. Has it, look like, has anything changed significantly about your business? because of COVID? Like, did y'all have to like use more technology or change your?
Absolutely. Like we had to figure out online ordering like almost overnight. We so our wholesale division took the biggest hurt because a lot of these local chefs and everyone that we were supplying were closed down. Some didn't reopen. And that took we have our own fleet of vans and all of that. So our wholesale definitely struggled, but fortunately our restaurants were able to kind of keep the whole company alive. And we were able to use our fleet of wholesale vans to start home delivery. So
Oh, wow.
so we shifted from it was flight or flight. It was like, do we freak out, cry, all the things? Yes, that happened, but what do we do to get out of this? What can we do? What tools can we use that are in front of us to just like make this happen and see what we can do? So we were able to launch home delivery within our own fleet of vans. And that was just bringing fresh fish to people's doors instead of to restaurants. It's kind of died out now, but it's still something that we do. But we also, we did get into online ordering. So that was something that we had to develop and figure out, and using things like Schedule Fly to help us communicate and all of that. And so, I definitely think it's changed. And then you add in the like I mentioned, the supply chain issues with disposable goods. The cost of gloves are 3 times what they were 2 years ago. And just to go boxes and, all of those items that are needed that are they're expensive, and to reflect those changes in costs and also the changes in our protein seafood costs, we've had to raise our prices. And most people understand, but like we're not fast food, we're not, we're a high quality seafood restaurant in a relaxed setting. So it kind of gives those people, it's like you can go in. We don't have white tablecloths. It's not, it's just coming in. You can get good food. You can bring your family, hang out, take some fish home. Kind of just going off of that. And I think like our style of service allowed us to kind of maintain ourselves during COVID, because you order at the counter. We don't really have a wait staff. But I think the struggles really, as of right now, are finding employees, and finding, and just products, the lack of certain products that we need to operate. Right now we're expanding our uptown location to add a bar and full patio, and we're waiting on some equipment before we can open. And it was ordered weeks ago, and it's somewhere. It's probably off in a container truck off the coast of Long Beach, but it is what it is. And we kind of just what I think we do great here is we really utilize and can transition to what's being thrown at us at any given time.
Well, it's an important quality, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. It's probably one of the things that maybe it benefited a lot of entrepreneurs in a weird way with COVID, because if you started a business, you've already had to make tons of tweaks and changes, and things didn't go the way you planned. And it's just like, you're always having to make adjustments. So then COVID hits, not that it makes it any easier, but just one more challenge to try to overcome.
Just makes your wheels turn in a different direction.
Yeah.
So, and we all have we have children, small family, family is a big thing for us too. So, just kind of keeping up with all of it. I kind of just have this theory in life that's never a dull moment. So
it is never a dull moment. How many kids do you have?
I have 2.
How old are they?
5 and 7.5. And then my business partner, he's got a 7-year-old and 10-year-old. So
that's such a cool thing for them to get to grow up around this business.
Oh yeah, our son was born 2 months before we opened our first restaurant. He's basically, our restaurant celebrates their anniversary, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy, like how time has flown. And what we've done and how much we've grown and how much our kids have grown, and just their hands on within it and seeing it. It's really pretty cool. And it's awesome to see. We call our staff our fish fam. We strongly believe in empowering our team so that they become better individuals, and that will only make them be better workers and be more passionate about their jobs, and just having, the desire to want to come to work every day versus like, I'm sure we've all been in that position there where we don't like what we're doing and we're just doing it to do it. So focusing on mental health and giving them the tools they need and supplying health insurance for them and whatnot. So it's and especially now it's very competitive, and to find good people, and we just want to make sure that our people are happy, and happy people are what we want.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes such a big difference with that experience with guests. And boy, it's hard to get people right now. It seems like, I mean, I talk to you in Arizona. It's everywhere I talk to people around the country right now.
Crazy. It's crazy.
very
I don't know what
challenging.
they're doing.
That's my question. Like, where are they all going?
I don't know.
Are they all
And,
driving like Uber or something? Like, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. It's crazy because I'm like, we put ads out for, we're paying very competitively, and I think a lot of everyone in the industry has had to make that shift to do so, which also adds another hardship to small business owners, hospitality industry,
Yeah.
just the added expenses of everything. But it has been difficult finding, people just to show up for an interview,
Yeah.
but we've done the best we can, and I'm very proud of our team, and we're going to continue to be on the mission of, customer service and awesome fish.
Do you, I'm curious, do y'all take the skins and like dry them and give them out like to dog treats? Do you ever like that?
The skins, actually, you know what, our team makes chicharrones out of the salmon skins and tuna skins, believe it or
Really?
not. Like, like pork rinds? Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
basically like salmon skin, like deep fried salmon skin, and it's like a chip, and they'll make a dip to dip them in. It's pretty incredible.
Awesome.
No, but the dog food thing has been something that's been on my back burner for a long time. I actually take our scraps from the warehouse and I bake it and give it to my dogs.
Yeah, they love it. I was grilling some salmon a few weeks ago. We've got 3 dogs here, and they're all out there staring at the grill, like hoping
Oh
for
yeah.
something. And I had the salmon skin. I had put it over on the side, and it got dried out, and it was like a chip. Like I
Yeah.
picked it up. Dude, my dogs devoured them. I mean, like
Yes.
totally loved them. Like just straight off the grill. Just they cooled off enough, hardened up, and they loved
Yeah.
them. I was like, oh, so now we try to do that, like once a week. We'll throw some salmon or something on the grill, and man,
Yeah.
they're
No,
all.
salmon's really good for them. I mean, that's another, my mind never stops churning, and they're always like, Mandy, come on, chill out on all the ideas. And I'm like, no, but it'll eventually happen. We're in the process of trying to get a commissary kitchen built in our warehouse to have the ability to kind of do projects like that. Make more fish stocks available, make just more kind of, fish bones. That's something that people like, or the heads and all of that. So,
Yeah, yeah,
before COVID, there was a company that would pick up all the waste, and it was a dog food company. So they would pick up the waste, and then they basically they give you a rating on what the quality is of your waste. And then it's like pennies, but they add up, but it's going somewhere, So
yeah.
unfortunately that stopped in Arizona once COVID happened. But that is something that I do want to make happen, because I'm a dog lover, I'm an animal lover, and my team thinks I'm crazy, but there is something to it.
There's totally something to it. Do it. I'll put them on a website. I'll order them from you.
You'll order them from me, awesome.
Yeah, I would, man. Absolutely, good quality. Absolutely, no doubt about it. Well, you have a cool story. You do a great job with your your storytelling, the
Thank
video
you.
is awesome. Your website, your branding is cool. I love your hat. Like y'all just do such a good job. So when you build that brand like that, as you know, somebody that understands marketing so well, you're building this audience, and then it's just, I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do because look, now we have Chula, fish skins or whatever for dog. I mean, like
Yeah.
people go back to brands that they trust, and y'all have earned that trust and will continue to. But I tip my hat. I think you're doing something really cool out there, and we're proud to serve you. And I really appreciate you taking the time to rap with me today and share the story.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
educate me. I learned a ton. So this is
Yeah, I can go on for hours. So it's fun to talk about what we do. Because like I said, I'm passionate about it. Being able to do this and have happy people, surrounding us, whether that be our team or our customers, all of that. Like it makes coming to work easy. So,
It does. Well,
yeah.
hospitality is a wonderful thing. I mean, people that work in it that understand it and appreciate it are happy people. Typically, they're hard workers. They do everything for their customers and for their teammates. Customers
Mhm.
love going somewhere and being taken care of. Especially now, people really, really want to not be cooped
Exactly.
up and stuff like that. So, well, thank you all. Thank you very much, Manny. I appreciate
Yeah,
the time.
thank you
Appreciate
so
the
much.
conversation. Yeah, and I mean, if y'all ever need anything, you know where I am, and
Awesome.
we'll if I ever get out anywhere near y'all,
Please do, or maybe one day we'll be out that direction.
thanks for coming. We'd love to see you.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, see ya. Bye.
Bye.